Don't assume. There is the law of assumption, but stop assuming. Allow yourself to feel the emotional tides. Allow yourself to feel them. There's nothing to latch on to until there's nothing to attach to when it comes to these emotional things that you feel. Yeah, you know what this is, you know what that is, but you don't have to identify to that emotion. That emotion is here to just trigger you to understand the energy behind that motion. Emotions are energy and motion. And so when you understand this, you come from a real understanding that there's 7 days within 52 weeks. There's only seven, and seven is completion. There's 7 days within a year, and every single week, there's an accomplishment, there's a goal, there's something that has already been won and achieved and succeeded. It takes 3 weeks for that thought to become almost a habit or a hyperbole. It becomes either a habit or hyperbole. It it matters not what the metaphor is. It matters not what you think should be or is. It's just the dance within the song. You are sitting in mastery and mystery. You are being reminded of the mystery within the master plan, what suits the design and for the plan. You're not you're not forgetting you're not forgetting who you are when you are sitting in the place of the in between, to recognize the self, to recognize the suit of the self, to recognize the depth of the self, to recognize the heart of the self, to recognize the love of thyself, to recognize the patience of thyself. Thyself is thyself. To know God is to know thyself, and to know thyself is to know God. You are not separate at all from any space or time. Hello, beloved. There is no separation. The perception is the choice to choose the separation. The perception lens of what you're seeing inside self can also cast the illusion that you are separate, but the separatism is the idea of the mind, not of the true self. The true self knows that there is no separation. There is only one. You're back to oneness at all times. You haven't forgotten. You're choosing to forget. This is what comes here. This is why you're here in the matrix. You're choosing to forget. 444. You're choosing to forget. Hello, beloveds. You're choosing to forget. You're choosing to forget the self. This is why you come into this world. You have a list of things that you wrote within your contract that everybody is aware of on the other side of this awareness. But in this level of awareness, you chose to forget so that you can come back in to remember the self from different opposites of levels of reflections. And when you've realized and remember that all reflections are of yourself and that you are of the divine, there is no separation, there is no disconnection. You're just remembering from your crown through the veil of the scope of who you are truly is why you have remembered. And this remembrance is the awakening. The remembrance is the awakening. The awakening is the remembrance. You haven't forgot yourself. You're choosing to forget yourself. You're choosing to forget that you have a responsibility and accountability to pull forth whatever that you desire to see, heal, feel, and trust in. Your belief about yourself is the only thing that you need to require to your experience to tell the experience of the self that to remember and trust the self thoroughly and its full totality. That's always going to be the awakening. Your subconscious does not know when it is happening, having the awakening, the experience, or the memory. It is just the download. You're not aware of your conscious to be aware of the subconscious. The subconscious mind is the seed. I mean, is not the seed, it's the garden. The conscious mind is the seed, and through the conscious mind there is the choices that are to be made. And so when you sit in the subconscious mind is asking itself of all memory, what is the right answer? You are attached to the emotional thought process of taking action. The emotion, the energy emotion puts you in action. But what is there's the logical and the emotional. It's not a full, complete thought. The mind needs the full and complete thought to transform, to shift. If you want to shift, you shift in through thought and emotion to create the full totality of the reality. I mean, what's the equation to Pluto? What's the equation to transformation? When you put Scorpio on the rising, you see that its value is through the knowledge. With Sagittarius sitting in its second house, Scorpio entertains the knowledge to the full psyche. It turns it into law. It turns it into principle. It turns it into its full evolution. The third house, the mind of the Scorpio, thinks like the Capricorn. The mind of the Scorpio is in the essence of understanding of the Capricorn. And so when you put Capricorn on the rising, you see in the fulfillment of the Capricorn is through the lens of the Scorpio. Its degree to its fame of transformation. What does the Capricorn wish to do? What is its dreams? Is to transform its community. This is why Capricorn can be considered the architect or the builder. You are of homage from understanding that Scorpio risings, their mindset is to build. But in order to build, the Scorpio must understand others' natures. This is the depth of psychology. Scorpio wants to build the system. Its skill is to build. In order to build, you have to understand transformation. You have to understand, okay, of the choice. So when you ask, where is the Gemini sitting? Well, we know Capricorn sits in the third. We know that the eighth house is Cancer. So the Scorpio wants to transform the home, or wants to transform to understand the ancestors, or want to transform to understand the full inheritance of the family heirlooms. Wait, hold on. Yep. No. Cancer's in the ninth house. I apologize. Yep, sorry. Cancer's in the ninth house. The eighth house, I apologize, is Gemini. So Scorpio wants to transform the mind by building, I apologize about the Cancer one, by building the structure within the mind. Scorpio knows how to grow because Taurus teaches the Scorpio how to grow. But Scorpio is also about the growth process that teaches the fulfillment to the Sagittarius to understand the growth process, to give to Capricorn the understanding of how to build the full foundation of said process. You're not alone in this worry or this defeat or this disappointment. You're not alone. You've never been alone. You've never been alone. 414 or 1414. You've never been alone. That's 5 5 10 completion. I'm sitting in front of a door that's is 11 10, so that's 11. You've never been alone. It says mystic smiles and omnivision. So we're defrosting this synastry of our awareness to maybe this taste of how we see this vision. What is our taste? What is our bite? What is this smile? What does our teeth say? This wisdom. Wisdom. You go to the dentist, you have wisdom. And so then you have to see your vision. So we're defrosting. And this frost is actually a financial center. So we're defrosting a bank. We're defrosting a current. When you smile, this is contagious. Contagious. A smile can be contagious. So when you smile through the mystic, what is the mysticism, the mystos, the mystery, the opening, the gate of seeing the vision. There's a blue car. There's a 633. There's 6. There's 12. There's creation. So there's a literalness of a mysticism. You're this star, this ting of vision. So when you defrost your current or you defrost this bank and something has been under ice for so long, and I'm feeling my tooth, there is a wisdom that is coming online. There's a wisdom that is now peaking. There's a wisdom that's now saying, hello, we're awakening. This is the awakening. This awakening is happening now. It's happening at the forefront of your mind in the moment of the now. You are presently here, surrounded by the now, the actual current of the magic. You are transforming it now, and that is the mystos of Pluto, of its transformation, of its bank, of its wealth, of its sitting, of its home, of the spark that is going to spark you when you get to the full moon in Sagittarius. You're going to have that spark. There's going to be an engine. There's going to be a fire. There's going to be a movement that catalyzes, that catapults you to your full catalyst. You had a blackout. There was a blackout. And now that that blackout has now shifted you to see the true paradigm, you're now able to blink in, you're able to move forward. You're able to feel the weight of the oceans. You're able to feel the weight of the you're actually able to feel the weight of it all now moving. You're actually able to feel it pick up. You're actually able to motorize it, move it, feel it, shift it. This storm that we're having, I said this is the last root of the chaos. Last root of the chaos. There is now the uproot. It is now the last ending. It is the last finishing. It is now the last upbringing. It is now shifted. You are able to now move the way you want to move because you've already decided from that point to this point that I would choose to move. I have chose my exit because I am in my true essence. They said, now, how can I transform it? You chose your exit. You chose your exit. Be well with it. And so with this exit, you're finalizing the last cut. You're finalizing the last overthrow. You're finalizing the last security, the last lock. You're finalizing what you last wrote. You're finalizing what you've seen. You're finalizing what you heard. And so now you're moving. You're not hiding away. You're coming back in and you're saying, it's over, it's done. You're being cutthroat about it. You're saying enough is enough. You're saying I've had enough. You're saying that I've given enough. I've shown enough. I've empowered enough. You've shown up enough. And so when you are pulling this storm and when you're pulling this chaos, you're setting the right intention. You're setting the right overthrow. You're setting the right motion. You're coming into what you realize is the real timeline. You realize what it is and what it's all about. You're not afraid anymore. You're not afraid to go under. You're not afraid to see. You're not afraid to see the underworld. You're not afraid to see the power of this command. You're not afraid to see Taurus and the Scorpio lens. You're not afraid to see what the next 6 months is to give to you. You're not afraid anymore. You're not afraid. You're not afraid of the storm. You know that the storm is coming in. And so when the storm is coming in, you allow Pluto, you allow Uranus to do what it's supposed to do. You allow what it's orchestrated to do. You allow it to cleanse. Okay? You allow it to purify. Okay? You allow it to do what it has to do. You allow it to take you. You found that grounding, you find the eye, you find the motion, and you allow it to turn. You allow it to do whatever it needs to do, whatever it needs to cleanse, whatever it needs to purify, and you allow it to transform you from your greatest root. And then when you allow yourself to take command of it all, when you finally take command of your trust, oh, it just opens. It just opens. It opens. It opens. It opens. It opens. It opens. So now we're setting this layer for y'all to understand what Scorpio Pluto is supposed to help you understand. What is Pluto, Scorpio, eighth house energy? Help you understand how to transform. If you're ready to transform, then go through the mythos, go through the cult, go through the things that makes you uncomfortable. Go through all the uncomfortabilities. When you go through all the uncomfortabilities, you start to really understand that this is where all the power lies. This is where all the treasure lies. This is where all the momentum lies. This is where all the carving happens. This is where all the treasure is. This is the treasure trove. You're in the spirit of the world. You're in the Anami Mundi. You're in the soul of the universe. You're able to really see it for what it is. You're able to actually capture what it is. You're actually able to give what it is. You're actually able to see what it is. You actually get to kiss it. You actually get to love it. You actually get to honor it. You actually get to respect it. You actually got to give it to it, to it, to it, to it, to it this time. Okay, I'm sorry. It almost makes you put that heartbeat back inside of where it's supposed to be at. You kiss the universe and you kiss its rain. You kiss its dreams. You kiss its raindrops. You kiss its tears. You say, okay, I'm here. I'm not in lack. I'm not even in wonder, but I'm in wonder. And I want to wonder this time with you. I actually want to explore this time with you. I'm in a bank, I'm in a currency, I'm defrosting the earth so that I can nourish the messages of the mystics. I'm here to seduce the magi, the yogi, the magi, the one that helps you see it all. You just see it all. And you're not afraid of seeing it all. You're not afraid of it. Actually, you have took ownership of it. You have took ownership of it. You have taken ownership of the very tightness of your glove. And you took accountability, and you allowed the tears to fall. You allowed the feel of just hope to fall. You allowed it all, the grief, the pain, the sorrow. You allow it to shed. You allow it to fall. You allow it to take you and move it out. This is the part 2 of the cycle of breaking the cycle. You finally came back to yourself. And now you just want to drink from the well of life, eternal life. You don't want to drink of nothing else no more. You just want to drink of life. You want to live in the sacred temples. You want to live in your home. You want to live into the self. You're not afraid of, you're able to sit in your body. And when you're able to sit, you're able to attract your home. You're able to sit in your mess. You're able to sit in your mess. You're able to sit in your tears. You're able to sit in the tragedy of your fear. You're able to go into the darkness of the storm. You're able to feel it. You're able to live in it. You're able to recognize what it really means. What it means to you. You're not afraid of no darkness. You ain't never been afraid of no darkness. Baby, you relished the darkness. You sat in darkness. You became the darkness. You've seen the other side of the darkness. You've able to see what it means to transform and to transform in the rain. You're able to dance in the rain. You're able to dance in the storms. You're able to find hope and lie and in glee in the storms. You're able to lay in it. You're not afraid of it. You ain't afraid of no storm. You ask of it. You ask it to come in. You ask it to take it all out. You ask it to shake it. You ask to break. You ask for it to break it. So stop being afraid of the storm. Stop being afraid of yourself and what it can do for yourself. But stop being afraid of it. You ain't afraid of this storm. You're not afraid of this storm. You ain't never been afraid of the storm. Ha, 10:10 on the clock. Yo, you ain't never been afraid of no storm. So stop acting like you afraid of the storm. You ain't never been no afraid of no storm. So stop being afraid of the storm. It's the last little rap. It's the last little bit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Be okay with it. Ain't nobody afraid to really let go. We afraid to let go. You know you ain't afraid to let go, because at the end of the day, you still gonna let go. So you let go. You did. You let go. So now that you have let go, now you can transform. How does that sound?